Birthday punches are really cruel to old people. In fact, the older they get, the more bruised they become, until basically birthday punches are a murder sentence. I would say, stop birthday. Just imagine like your grandpa's birthday. You're like, how old are you, Grandpa? How was World War II? 93. Cracks knuckles. Hello everybody and welcome back to Genuinely 10 out of 10. My name is Edinger and I'm 30. So yeah, another birthday has come and gone, and now I am 30 years old, which it just feels so weird to say it. Even writing down what I wanted to say in this video felt weird. It feels weird. I guess it's just such a big deal because there's a new number in the front now. Like, I've been a 2-something for 10 years, right? That's how numbers work. But it's like a start of a whole new era, okay? I'm now at the beginning of the 30s. I'm supposed to relate to people that are 39 now, and I'm like, hold up. I don't know yet. I've always been fascinated with the passage of time because it always obviously confused me. I feel like it confuses, what am I trying to be relatable to humans? Time. Doesn't it freak you out? Yeah, there was this lyric that I wrote when I was 23 in a song I'll probably re-release at some point, and it went, I cried because nothing's stopping time, and the year that seemed so far away is now on the other side. Basically, I was just thinking, oh, 2008, gosh, that's so far away. I'm supposed to graduate then? Yeah, right, that's never gonna, 2008? It's so long ago at this point. So much has changed since then. It's so freaky that this year that was so far away is now so far away in the other direction. You know, something that I never thought would happen has happened, and it's old news. What the heck? The thing is, I don't really feel old, okay? I don't feel that old at all. I remember distinctly when I was 21, I was hanging out with a friend in Philly who was 25, and I just remember thinking, holy crap. She is so old, 25, she was 25. And I'm thinking like, damn, this girl's freaking ancient. 25-year-old girl. However, I remember distinctly her telling me about how she's lived in England for a bit and how she's now studying to get her master's in some cool field. And I was just thinking, oh my God, she's so cool. She's lived so much of her life. To me, as a 21-year-old, this 25-year-old had lived so much more life. I had absolutely no experience. At this point, she's got an apartment with her own money. And I'm thinking at this point, like, money? How do you get that? Like, I don't know. At this point, I didn't have a full-time job unless you count working full-time at a restaurant that doesn't really pay the bills in the slightest. And I was also a full-time student. I had all these different dreams and hopes of things I was gonna do, but none of them really always turn out the way you expect them to. Whereas the older you get, the more experience you have to base your future on. As I got older, things just got a lot less scary because I knew a bit more. Like when you're younger, you can have all of these ideas and hopes of where your future is going to go, and that's exciting, but they can take you anywhere. They can also take you nowhere. It doesn't really matter, but that is what is exciting about it. I mean, at one point, I thought I was gonna be a math teacher in LA. Another point, I thought I was gonna be studying video game design in Washington State, an actuary in Boston, and now I'm a full-time YouTuber in London. Like, life just changes a lot. I think when I was younger, I would stress a lot about getting older because the concept was scary to me. I liked being young because that way, the fact that I didn't have much experience at much of anything was kind of like, oh, well, I'm younger, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. But the older I got and the not much further along in my own perception of who I am I got, the more stressed I'd get because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting this old now and I still can't cook. I think the main reason I'm not really as stressed about being older as I was when I was younger is that I've begun to finally like accumulate all that life experience that I was hoping to accumulate when I was younger. I have so many just weird, crazy stories that have happened throughout my life. I have so many things that I've done. I'm getting better at things that I'm putting my heart into, and it just feels like I actually am the adult that I wanted to be all along. Whereas before, I was just kind of floating along a path, seeing wherever life took me, which was fun and great, and I have no like regrets about that, but it stressed me out. I find it interesting that in this video I made when I was 23 in the Grand Canyon, I was making it as a way to say, dear teenage Evan, like this is a message I would say to my younger self. And in it, I said, you know, don't stress so much about all these things that aren't going to matter in a couple years' time.
These tests and this stress that you go through really just boils down to nothing a year or two down the line. Things that were so important. Nothing. Not even like in the back of your brain will you be thinking about a giant test on modern algebra that you were so stressing out about.
And I do still stand by that point, but I wouldn't be where I am today if I never like tried that hard and I never stressed that much. And if I had to like send a letter to my 25-year-old self or my 23-year-old self, I honestly don't know what I would say. I think it would just say, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Live your life, and if you are going to compare yourself to others, try and use it as a drive, not as a detriment. You know, we all have our own life path, and I took mine the way I took it. I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm going to keep going in a good direction, hopefully. Actually, about a year later, I went back to the same Grand Canyon. The same one. There's no other Grand Canyon. I went back for another trip, and I met up with a guy named Steve Booker, a very cool photographer, very nice guy. I was really confused the entire time that I was there because him and his friends, they just take out the cameras and be like, take the shot. I'm like, that is an amazing photo. How do I do that? And so I'd be like, hey, at this point, I'm very early on in my photography journey. I would just be like, can I get those settings? Can you tell me that aperture? What's that shutter speed? What's that ISO? I'm gonna try and take that picture too. And they would just laugh it off. And I think it's because I was so early on in my photography journey, I was thinking, oh, I know how to get good at photography. Just take this quick path, memorize a setting. That would have worked in one instance, but nobody really gets where they are by memorizing numbers like that. Like, it's just from experience. It's just from taking photos. Nowadays, I can just go out, and I've taken so many photos now, I can just take my camera out, boom. I know the exposure settings I gotta do. It just came with practice and time. There's no, like, cheap way of getting there, and that's something I guess I could tell myself when I was younger, like, hey, stop trying to look for easy ways and just take your time, be consistent, and just practice, learn, and make a lot of freaking mistakes. Because, oh my God, you gotta make mistakes. I am really enjoying this open curtains setup. Like, the lighting is, just always mixing it up. We're getting rid of this TV tomorrow. You won't see him anymore. I hate him. Something I find funny is whenever somebody asks me, like, Evan, how did you get so good at photos? The first thing I always do is, one, I insult them. Excuse me? You think this is good? Are you stupid? Have you even noticed the terrible feathering around the exposure radial circle on the face? Are you kidding me? You're a joke. Do you even know photography? This is horrible. Anyway, thank you. Appreciate it. I think it's because obviously we are our own biggest critic, and especially when it comes to me doing things that I do still feel like I'm such early stages of learning, I'm very hypercritical. And so when someone says something is good, I'm like, no, it's not. You don't even know good. But that's okay. I'm making lots of mistakes. I'm 30 years old. At 30, I've just made so many mistakes in my life, okay? I don't think I would be here at all if I hadn't made the amount of mistakes that I've made. I've said the wrong thing countless times. I've wondered why there's something on my glasses that you can see if you're watching this video in 4K. What is this? What is this? I've forgotten my memory card at an incredibly important shoot. Couldn't take any photos. That's just another mistake I've made. I've fallen into a cactus once trying to get that shot. Oh, fuck. But the thing is, every single time I make these stupid mistakes, I try and learn from them. I use this analogy all the time, but I feel like learning is just a game of whack-a-mole. Mistakes come up and you gotta go whack that one down, but as soon as you whack that one down, another one comes up. So as you might have seen from me developing the way that my videos look in the last couple months alone, you'll see that each video has one distinct error in it. Maybe you don't. I definitely do. But I find that fascinating. I'm like, oh, and then I figured out why was it like this, looked it up, found out how to do it. Basically what I'm saying is, now that I'm 30, I just feel way more in control of what I'm doing and how I can make myself the person I want to be, how I can make my world the way I want it to be. Because here's the thing, as much as I'm really happy with my setup right now, which if you haven't noticed, I just changed again. I'm changing it next week. Even though I'm very happy with it right now, I just know 5 years from now, I'm gonna look back and be like, oh gosh, that looks weird. Just as if any hairstyle you currently have, you're probably gonna cringe at it in 5 years. And you know what? That's a good thing. That means that in 5 years' time, you've grown as a person. You've learned things. You're looking back and going, oh, I would have done that so much differently. We should not be looking at ourselves and hoping that we don't change and we have a static personality and a static style. You should want to just try and mess up and experiment, because what the heck is the other point of life, mate? Right? I'm such a wise 30-year-old. I'm sure there's so many people so much older than me right now thinking like, oh, well, you're also missing out all this stuff. Yeah, I haven't experienced it yet. I'm just sharing the experience that I have now as a 30-year-old who's still very excited for life and excited to make more mistakes. You know, I'm supposed to be having kids, getting married. I don't know what's going on there, but I'm trying not to stress about it as much because just sort one thing at a time, man. Life is long. I feel like now that I've crossed over the hump, I've just got so much more time to do anything. I'm excited. In regards to my social life, I feel like in my 20s, especially early on, I had this need to be liked by everyone. If I found out someone didn't like me, even just a random person I met at a party, I'd be like, over myself. Well, I can't believe this. What have I done? How could I have done this? I need to make it up to them. There's no way. Okay, that is actually one thing I would say to my past self. There's no way you can be friends with everyone. There's no way that every person will like you. It's not possible. You just have to be as true to yourself as possible. It's so annoyingly cliche, but it's because it's true. If I was trying to make everyone on this YouTube channel happy, I would not have any followers. No one would really care. There's people that ask me, just do German videos all the time. I love making German videos. I can do that all the time. Das ist nicht möglich, ja. older, yeah, there we go, we threw it in. There's people that just want me to do Reddit videos, there's people that hate Reddit videos, you know, I just have to make what I want to make and hope that other people like that. And it's kind of like that in real life. I just have to be myself and hope that people can like that. Every person that I haven't seen in ages that I've met up with in the last 2 years is always like, oh my God, Evan, where have you been? It's been ages. And I always feel like it's slightly accusatory, as if I've like chosen to avoid being social with every single person I've ever met. And it's not the case. I just feel like as I've gotten older, my circles have gotten smaller, because that's kind of what I want. Like, I want a much more close-knit group of friends that I can really rely on than having all these variables and having all these different people. I am an extrovert, but I don't know, man. I just feel like as I've gotten older, I care way more about smaller groups of friends than everything else. I feel like when I was younger, I cared so much about what other people thought because I needed the validation for who I am. I needed their approval of who I was trying to be. Whereas now that I'm 30, now that I'm older, I have value that they don't really give me. Like, it's inherent in how I feel, in what I've made, and who I am. That value is basically me, and I don't really need 1,000 people to approve me or disapprove of me for me to understand that. I'm me. I'm pretty happy with that. That's a good point. Cry. Is it true? Is it true? Through the years, you make a lot of friends, you outgrow friends, you get outgrown. You find out that people grow and change, and maybe the person that you were friends with, even at 25, isn't the person you thought they were, and that's normal to outgrow people. That's normal to change and maybe not want to talk to the same people because your needs change, what you like changes, your circles will change. And that's something that, like I said, as you get older, it just happens, and you're happy with that. I do feel like there's this stigma around getting older where, you know, the older you get, the less fun you can have. You better have fun now while you're young, because when you get older, you can't have that. I disagree with that fully. I find every year of my life has had a distinct amount of fun in it that I couldn't have had the years prior because of what I've experienced. And the fact that as you get older, you just have so much more control over your life and what you want to do. And you can just go out for a drive and visit some place, or save up money and go traveling somewhere you want to go just because you want to. See, the other day, I remember my friends and I were in the park and we were having such a good time, and we came across a really steep hill. And it's one of those things where as a kid, you see a steep hill, the first thing you think is, I'm gonna roll down that hill. Doesn't matter why or who's gonna be looking at you, because you're having a fun time and it's a fun experience. And so we kind of talked about it, and we're like, you know what, let's just roll down the hill. Who the heck cares who's what? And we rolled down the hill, right? I was 29 years old, I'm rolling down a hill, having the time of my life. I'm getting up, I'm seeing stars. It was amazing. Did I have to do that? No. I'm just saying that just because you are 28, 29, 38, 52, it doesn't matter. You can still have fun. You can have fun doing whatever you want. It just depends on if you care as much about what other people are going to think about you. I feel like if you're hanging out with the type of friends that are constantly reminiscing about the good old days, either get new friends or you make new memories, okay? Instead of reminiscing about all these good old times in the past, you can make new ones all the time instead of complaining. Hang out with friends, doesn't even matter what you're doing. Just go out in the park, have a little drink, doesn't really matter. As long as you're with friends, you're making new memories, having a good time. So right at the beginning of lockdown, when everyone was kind of obviously really stressed, my house decided to throw a Hawaiian-themed barbecue because we just wanted some small bit of fun that we could have in our house and make that positive little memory. And honestly, it was a really nice time. I posted an Instagram from the event, and I got this comment on it that honestly touched me, and it said, "This makes me excited to be an adult." And that's kind of the message I'm hoping to put out with this video, is that as an adult, you can have so much more fun. You can still learn a new skill. You can grow as a person. You can do whatever you want. And no matter what age you are, you should still be able to have fun, enjoy life. And yeah, I'm happy to be 30. And I guess it is, I'm gonna be honest, it's a little scary thinking about being another 10 years older, but I know I'll be happy then as well. So no matter what age you are, hope you are happy and living it up, enjoying your life. Thanks for watching this personal video. And now's the part I'd really like to hear from you. Like, if you're younger than me, do you understand where I'm coming from? If you're older than me, are you like, you're missing out on so much? I know. But I'd really like to hear your thoughts, your experience in the comments. That'd be great. We'll talk about it in a next month's community video. If you haven't noticed, I stopped doing community videos for a bit because I want to do them in a month in advance, so that way I can kind of get my bearings. I felt like I was in a rut and I couldn't escape. I've escaped the rut. I want to make good content for you guys. I don't want it to feel rushed, and so that's the decision I've made. But I do appreciate you guys stepping by my channel for freaking this long. I've been making videos since I looked like this. Look at him, little college Evan. We all grow and change. I know I'll be cringing about myself in 10 years. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.